Hey guys, welcome to A Touch of Film. Yeah, I promised I was going to do this video. This is my top 25 movies of 2022. It took a while for me to compile this list. I thought I had it down, and then I saw a couple other movies and I thought, well, I've got to add that on there. And then the order kept changing. I kept thinking about certain films and then thinking, do they really belong that high, or do they even belong on the list, let alone? And I was having these discussions in my head, thinking about these films a lot over the past few weeks. But yeah, I think this list of films is pretty concrete now. Give or take. Maybe some films may change order in my head in like a couple of days or a couple of hours. God knows what. But yeah, I got to just say, 2022 was a great year for cinema, especially Asian cinema and Japanese cinema in particular. I think I had a great year. Obviously, we had some great Korean movies, which I will talk about in this list. But yeah, let's get down to it. In number 25, we have got Next Sohei, which is directed by July Jung, and it's I would say it's like a bit of a melodrama, and it really discusses what's going on in Korea with like the child labour. Well, it's not really child labour, it's like work experience, but these children that get put through get this work experience, they sort of like don't have it easy. They are like manipulated by big companies because they can get away with it. But yeah, I mean, it's quite a dark film. It hasn't got like the most happiest of endings, but it has got a great performance by Bae-doona. I think she's just phenomenal, and she's had a great year, which I will discuss as well in this list. But yeah, Next Sohei, I got to see it at London Film Festival. I can imagine it's probably going to get a big Korean Blu-ray release. Those sorts of films always do, especially one that's got like quite a good European release as well in some of the film festivals. But yeah, great movie, well worth checking out, guys. Next up, this one, people will be like, what is this movie doing in his list? Now, this is sort of like, okay, it's not a narrative movie as such, but yeah, this is Jackass Forever. I just thought this just had like, gave me so many like great feelings of nostalgia. Obviously, it being the last Jackass film, everything going on with what happened with Ryan Dunn. It was quite it's such a funny film, but it just had, you know, this like it's just this whole thing about, you know, my childhood at the time. Well, when I say my childhood, my teenage years, Jackass was just a big part of that. Like, I didn't watch a lot of like television, but this was one of the TV shows I always watched. It always made me laugh. It always cheered me up when I was down. And those guys, they're just like, it's like they're part of your family, because you've been watching them for so many years. So at number 24, it is Jackass Forever. At number 23, how do I get into this film? Project Wolf Hunting, a Korean film directed by Kim Hong-sun. This film, talk about a film about excess of violence. I think this is probably the most violent movie in my list. Yeah, this possibly is the most violent movie in my list. It's about this ship that is carrying these criminals from I think it's from Vietnam or Philippines over to Korea. They are all like criminals wanted, and it's sort of like Con Air in a way, but it sort of turns into this ultra violent zombie-esque type film with, or you could call it Frankenstein meets Con Air. It is just super violent, and I know what Korean audiences are like. I've been in a cinema with just Korean audiences, and they do get shocked with the most minor violence. I always see some of them just turn away and wince. But for this film to get released in Korea and do so well, that is just brilliant. And, you know, I can see this film doing really well in Europe. Just, it's not a masterpiece, but just the amount of fun you have with it. It's just such a fun, violent movie. And you're just shocked every turn in this film. Brilliant. It looks stunning. It does look stunning, but don't go in there thinking, oh, this is like a masterpiece of cinema. It is not. It is just a fun roller coaster ride of just blood, guts, violence, limbs being torn off, heads exploding. It's just something special if you like violence. So that is number 23, and that is Project Wolf Hunting. Number 22 is a Japanese movie which is quite close to my heart. It's called My Small Land, directed by Emma Kawawado. It's about a Turkish family, well, a Turkish Kurdish family who moved from Turkey. They escaped persecution. It's quite difficult over in Turkey with Kurdish community. They are seen as like second-class citizens in some parts, and it's about a man who's brought his family over to Japan as refugees, and their refugee status has been taken away. It's a really nice coming-of-age movie against a backdrop of the way refugees are treated by governments, not by people alone, but more by governments. And it's quite a sad film, but it's got such beautiful moments in it, and it's really worth checking out, because we don't really see that many Japanese films about refugees or subcultures. They don't usually come around that often, but this is really worth checking out. That's My Small Land at number 22. Number 21, we have The Last 10 Years, another Japanese movie. This is directed by Michihito Fuji. This is a true story. It's based on a book about a young girl in her, I think she was in her early 20s. She was given 10 years to live from a very rare illness, and she wrote this memoir which has now been adapted into this movie, and it's her living her best life, knowing that hasn't got, you know, she can't really raise a family or, you know, find love and have that long relationship, but she does find love, and it's just such a tender movie, and it's got so much heart to it, and it did actually bring a tear to my eye. It's absolutely wonderfully told. It's stunning. It's beautiful, and I think it's done really well in Japan as well. It's had quite big commercial success. So that is The Last 10 Years. If you do get a chance to see it on an English-friendly Blu-ray or DVD, definitely worth checking out. That's 21, The Last 10 Years. At 20 is a Chinese movie. It's called Too Cool to Kill, directed by Zheng Wenzhang. This film, do you know, I watched it. I received a screener for it, and I was like, I'm not going to like this film. It's just one of those Chinese movies which is just like, you know, it's going to have a silly story. Like reading the synopsis of it, it's about this guy who thinks he's in a film, but really it's real life. He's dealing in this small town with gangsters, and he's just there like thinking this is just a film set and he's an actor, and things just unroll out of that. It's actually a really fun movie and really nice set design. It's set on this like little quaint islands, which reminds me of something from a Studio Ghibli film. It's a really fun movie. I don't know anyone that's seen it that didn't like it. That I know a lot of people that have said to me, yeah, this was quite a surprising film. Really, a really fun movie. I do want to check it out when it comes out on Blu-ray, because I think it's got a lot of rewatch value as well. And that is number 20, Too Cool to Kill. At number 19, this was the Taiwanese entry for the Oscars Foreign Language, Best International Movie. It is Goddamn Zora. It's a Taiwanese film directed by Yi On Lao. Now, this film is really interesting. I think Taiwan seems to do films which, you know, they do look at things from a different direction to other Asian countries. Maybe Japan seems to have great directors that also do this, but now Goddamn Zora starts off with this extremely violent act where a young boy murders a man in a market, and from there we see how and then it goes back to seeing how this action happened, and then later on how one thing could have prevented this from happening. And it's a really clever film, and it just makes you think about all the violent actions in the world. Maybe one small element, one small domino effect could have just prevented it and, you know, saved lives. But it is really well told. I can understand why this was the Taiwanese entry at the Oscars. It's just a wonderful film. It looks really good. The colour palette is stunning, really grimy, dingy. Yeah, Goddamn Zora, that is number 19. And number 18 is a Netflix film. It's Japanese, based on a manga. It is Hell Dogs, directed by Masato Harada. This is just, yeah, this was a lot of fun. A Yakuza film. It's got Infernal Affair vibes to it, but don't get it twisted. It's not. It's sort of got more New World. If you think of New World, it's sort of that, but it's a really great Yakuza film. Same way how A Family was like one of my favourite films of last year. This is on the same vibe, and I think Netflix have picked some really, like, they do seem to pick some good Japanese movies to bring onto their platform. And I think this adaptation, I've not read the manga, but it's a really good film. But yeah, absolutely wonderful Yakuza film. And some of the characters, it's got a lot of characters in it, and some of them are just so cool. And some of them are like, they're cool but very unlikable. I would really recommend it. If you're a Netflix subscriber, check it out. That's Hell Dogs, and that's at number 18. At number 17, this is a Canada, US release. It is Crimes of the Future by David Cronenberg. What a cast is in here. So you've got Viggo Mortensen, Lea Seydoux, Kristen Stewart, and I think all three of them give such a great performance. Kristen Stewart especially, I think she's wonderful in this film. And it's sort of like a science fiction. It's how humans haven't stopped evolving. They're evolving even more with more, like, we have these group of people that seem to grow organs which obviously are trying to make their lives better, and Viggo Mortensen is this like performance artist along with his girlfriend Lea Seydoux, and they perform like autopsies as entertainment, removing these unusual organs. And it's a really interesting film. It's quite grimy. It's absolutely stunning, and like Cronenberg, you know, it's body horror. I think no one does body horror as good as Cronenberg or Obayashi, not Obayashi, Tsukamoto, and I think them two are just amazing at body horror movies. And yeah, Cronenberg is just the Western version and Tsukamoto is the Japanese version, and they're just as good as each other. And I think this is definitely worth checking out if you are a Tsukamoto fan. Like most of my audience are Asian film fans, so yeah, definitely worth checking out for a Western film. It is Crimes of the Future, and that's at number 17. At number 16 we have The Roundup. This is a sequel to the 2017 movie The Outlaws, starring Ma Dong-seok. This time it's directed by Lee Sang-yong. Not as good as the original Outlaws, but still really entertaining. A lot of fun in this. Ma Dong-seok's character is now gone to the Philippines trying to extradite a murderer, and just the action in this is just phenomenal. I think he's such a great actor, and he's so charismatic, and in this I think he's phenomenal. I think he's phenomenal in all his films. I mean, like I said, Outlaws was a better film. This one, I do think they sort of like bring his levels down a little bit, but still, he's absolutely brilliant in this. And I just love his action scenes. I just think he's such an entertaining actor, and in this film, he's just superb. Yeah, and that is The Roundup. At number 15, we have a Western film. We have The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. And we have a new Batman played by Robert Pattinson. And this one is like probably one of the grimiest Batman films. It's just a cooler Batman. The Batmobile is like a vintage car. And it's just got such a great cast. You've got Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell, John Turturro, and yeah, it's like I said, it's like a really cool Batmobile, and he's like, the fight scenes are brilliant. Robert Pattinson is just, I think he's the perfect Bruce Wayne and Batman, because I don't feel like a lot of actors get both of them at the same standard. I mean, Christian Bale was really good, but like yeah, to get the Bruce Wayne and the Batman, who, you know, even though they're the same character, they're not in a way. But yeah, this is just a really good Batman film. I do hope they do make a sequel to it, because it was a lot of fun. And that is number 15, The Batman. At number 14, we have Oxhead Village, directed by Takashi Shimizu, who is a horror legend in Japan, The Grudge, Ju-on, and this is a really cool horror movie. 3 girls vanish after doing this like TikTok video, which just goes crazy, and then we just see the story play out in a way where we see the victim's sister, which it's a really cool movie. I don't really want to talk too much about it because it's so easy to spoil. But yeah, Oxhead Village is probably one of the best Japanese horror movies to come out this year. Not the best, but probably one of the best. And that's number 14. At 13, we have got My Broken Mariko, directed by Yuki Tanado. This is based on a manga. The story starts with this this woman who works in an office. She's just having her lunch, and then she hears about one of her best friends committing suicide, and the story really evolves around her having these flashbacks of her friend, and she decides from these flashbacks to do what her friend always wanted to do, just to go to the beach. And she steals her ashes from her father's house and takes these ashes to the beach. And it's just a really touching, tender movie. anyone who's read the manga has said to me it's not as good as the movie's not as good as the manga, and then they've all said nah, it's not a great movie. But those who have not read the manga have said yeah, this is a great movie. Like myself, who's not read the manga, I think it's a wonderful film, and it's got like elements of comedy in there as well, quite dark comedy. But yeah, just, you know, it's such a lovely movie. I really hope it gets an English-friendly Blu-ray, because it's got a lot of like rewatch value to it. So that is My Broken Mariko at number 13. At number 12, we have The Big Four, directed by Big Timo Chihanto. Yeah, this is just a great family movie. That's what it is. It's a family movie, a family of misfit assassins who are out to get, well, they try to retire and live a normal life, but the death of their fixer brings back some old acquaintances, and it is a great action movie, probably one of the best action movies of the year. Timo is, I mean, he's one of the best Indonesian directors, and I think it's just he's made a really heartfelt film at the same time of it being like this grimy action set on like this Indonesian island, and it's, yeah, really worth checking out, guys. It's still on Netflix, so yeah, I think it is a Netflix production, so definitely check that out. At number 11, we have an anime, not just any anime. We have got Dragon Ball Superhero, the funniest anime I've seen in a long time. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, it's definitely worth checking out. And we don't have all the cast in there. We've got Piccolo, Gohan, and it's just this the Red Army back, and they are just, you know, just, oh, it's just so, it's a real flash, like a throwback to old Dragon Ball, like, well, not even Dragon Ball Z, we're talking about Dragon Ball, with newer characters and a lot of just great humour in there. The animation is really slick, it's stunning. Yeah, real fun movie. I had a lot of fun watching it on the big screen as well. I can't wait to pick out the Blu-ray for this, because again, this has got rewatch value written all over it. And that is number 11. That is Dragon Ball Superhero. At number 10, we're in the top 10 now. Now, number 10, I didn't, at the beginning of the year, if you were to say to me this film is going to be in your top 25 list, let alone your top 10 list, I would have laughed at you, because I would have thought, no, yeah, I'm excited for this film, but it's not going to be in that list. But it's really surprisingly good. It is Shin Ultraman, directed by Shinji Higuchi. Now, Higuchi he worked on the Shin Godzilla movie. He's not got the best resume when it comes to some of the live action movies he's done. He did the Attack on Titan, which was terrible. But this, you know, he's got me excited for what comes next in this whole Shin universe. We've got Shin Kamen Rider coming this year. But yeah, Shin Ultraman, it's a new origin story to Ultraman, and it's just so much fun. It's got all the cool kaiju scenes. It's got really good special effects. It's got the politics side to it that we saw in Shin Godzilla, and it's just a fun movie. Definitely worth checking out, guys. I know the Japanese Blu-ray's already out, but it hasn't got English subs. I hear it will be coming to Amazon Prime this year. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. That is Shin Ultraman, and that's at number 10. At number 9, we have Fast and Feel Love, a great Thai movie. this, you know, when I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, this film is just, it's cheesy. But when I got the screener for it, it is just a real, like, feel good, happy, fun movie. And it's about this guy who's like the world champion of cup stacking, which, you know, is a serious sport to some people. And he's a bit of a man-child. He's got a girlfriend, well, a wife, who sort of like does everything for him. Tries to, you know, so it allows him to concentrate on his career as a cup stacker. So she does everything else to just refine his life for this one sport, and she decides to leave, and he has to start from the beginning at the same time as trying to get her back. And it's a really good movie. It's got little elements from other films in there, which, you know, is just so cool. A really, really lovely movie, and that is Fast and Feel Love at number 9. At number 8, we have another anime. Oh yeah, this is just brilliant. If you're a fan of Night is Short, Walk On Girl, the director of that, Masaki Yagusa, yeah, Inu O, this film was just absolutely wonderful. And it's like a rock opera period movie set during feudal Japan. Really great soundtrack. The animation is wonderful, and it's about these two guys that meet. One of them has got this deformity, but every time he performs, his deformity slowly comes away, and he starts to look more and more human in some ways, because he's not, his deformities like doesn't make him look human at all. And just the animation is just stunning. I mean, if you have seen Night is Short, Walk On Girl, and the animation is not the same, but the style is similar. If you know, if you see it, you'll know what I mean. It's just the soundtrack. The characters are all wonderful. Yeah, a great movie. I can't wait to pick this up. I think all the anime is going to probably release it in the UK. They did release they released it out in the cinemas. So yeah, definitely check that out, guys. At number 7, we have Broker by Kurida. This is his Korean language, his first Korean language film. I don't know if he'll be doing it again, but what a cast. We've got Song Kang-ho, the Don from Korea. We've got Gong Dong-won and Bae Doona in her second film on my list. Again, she plays a police officer in this, which she does in the previous film in this list. But yeah, Broker is just this really warm film where you really see like character arcs change in this. Song Kang-ho and Gong Dang-won, they play these two guys that sort of like take babies that have been given away, and then they sell them to couples that can't have children. And in this occasion, they have the mother of the child decide that she didn't want to give the baby away, but then sees what they're really doing and gets involved in it. And it's just it's almost like a weird family that get together. The same way that Shoplifters was a weird family that weren't related is the same with this film. And I think whilst it's not Kurida's best film, I do think it's a great movie, and it's well worth checking out. Yeah, Broker, you have to have Creed on your list. So yeah, that's at number 7, that's Broker. At number 6, we have One Day You'll Reach the Sea. Yeah, this Japanese movie, directed by Yuritoro Nakagawa. It's quite a bleak film, but it's just so well acted. It's about these two girls are really close best friends, and after her friend passes away from an illness, it's just about loss and how she can't accept it, and the things that she wished she could have done before her friend passed away. And it's really great telling of loss and how we deal with grief, which I will go into in another film on this list. But yeah, a really wonderful film. I don't think I would watch it, I'd rush to watch it again, but I just thoroughly enjoyed it nonetheless, and that is One Day You Will Reach the Sea. At number 5, we have Park Chan-wook's Decision to Leave. You know, this film was my number 1 for ages, coming up to like near the end of the year. What a great cast. Park Hae-il, Tang Wei. Tang Wei is just wonderful in this film. A real good murder mystery, but is it a murder mystery? It's more of a love story wrapped around a murder mystery, and we have this this Tang Wei's character who's just so brilliant in this. She's obviously the killer, we all know this, but just the love, this little tension between her and Park Hae-il, who plays the detective of this murder, and she's just, you know, it's just a wonderful masterpiece. Again, I wouldn't say it's Park Chan-wook's best film, but I think it is. I would call it a masterpiece. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I don't think Park Chan-wook can do no wrong. But yeah, it's a really great movie, and it looks stunning as well. The cinematography is gorgeous. Everything about it is wonderful. The colour palette, yeah. The Decision to Leave, and that's at number 5. At number 4, we have Wandering, directed by Lee Sang-il, a Japanese movie. Lee Sang-il directed Rage and the Japanese remake of Unforgiven. Yeah, this film, do you know, I had a lot of debate in my head about this film. I wanted to put it at my first movie, but the ending, it's just the ending, which, you know, I won't go into too much. A story of this young girl who's 9 years old. She lives with her uncle and auntie who are quite abusive to her. And one day in the park, she meets this 19-year-old man and says, can I stay with you? And he accepts, and she goes to live with him for a few weeks, and then obviously the police are still looking for her, and they find her. He is then arrested, and with everything going on with the dark side of men that take children. And then we go forward, and she's grown up and she's engaged, and it's really about her life after that incident. And then she runs into this guy, and obviously there's no ill feeling, because she says he never did anything to me. But yeah, the film really it's beautiful, it's subtle, it's quite a long film. It's about like 3 hours long, but it didn't really feel like a 3 hour long film. It's just the ending really touched me in a way which I don't think, which made me think to my head, would it go in my number 1 movie? I don't know. But yeah, it's Wandering, a very interesting film, and discusses a very dark subject. And that is at number 4. At number 3, I saw this film after seeing Adam Terrell's live stream, Third Window Films, and they were both talking about him and Benji, and I just thought I really want to check out this film. And I saw it playing at a Slam Dance, and it was just like mind-blowing. It's New Religion, directed by Keshi Kondo. It's his first movie, and wow, what a great debut. It's a it's a Japanese horror, and it's about this woman who's a cool girl who's suffering from grief after her daughter jumped off the balcony, and she's really going through a hard time. And then she meets this client who's obsessed with taking photos of body parts, and it's after meeting this man, there's this metamorphosis that we see of her, and it really changes her character, whilst her driver bodyguard is also like trying to find information about this guy. It's really dark yet really beautiful. It's got a lot of like red tones in it. Just an amazing movie, and it's just like, wow, amazing movie. Definitely worth checking out, guys, if you do get a chance to. As it's like this director's debut, I don't know if it will get a Blu-ray release. Fingers crossed it does. I want to see it again, and hopefully it gets like some sort of another release somewhere, even in the UK. I really want to see this film again, and that is New Religion at number 3. At number 2 is a film that came to film festivals late in 2021, so it's sort of like overlapped into 2022. It is Shinzo Katayama's Missing. Katayama is the worked under Bong Joon-ho as like a assistant director, and is seen as like a Bong Joon-ho's protege. And this film is just amazing. It's about this young girl looking for her missing dad, and all she's got to go on is the fact that her dad said that he saw a man that's missing, that is wanted by the police for murder. And we just go on this, we just delve into this whole story of this girl looking for her dad, and it has so many twists and turns. I really don't want to go into it because I went into it completely blind, and I think that is exactly what most people should be doing. It's going into this film completely blind, not knowing what it is, and it's just phenomenal. It's a banger. It's a masterpiece. It has to be seen. There is a Blu-ray of it in the US. Go check it out. Pick it up. It is just so worth seeing. It's a 10 out of 10, and that is Missing. And that's my number 2. So I might 3, 2 and 1. I think they could go in any order in this list. They probably would change any time, but yeah, number 1 is a Taiwanese film directed by Mu-Ming Tsai. This film blew my mind. It was just it's a science fiction film, but imagine if Hong Sang-soo did a sci-fi. This is what you would get. It feels like a Hong Sang-soo movie, and it's about this man and woman that meet up at a point in their lives where they realise that they are divorced, but they got divorced at they got divorced, but the man says we never got married. So they meet at this point in time, but they're both from different timelines, and they meet and they talk about their lives, and what happened, and how they're two totally different characters, and how I feel like they would have been happily married if these two people from a different timelines met at that same point. And it's really about the nature of memory, existence, reality. It's just an absolute masterpiece, and it blew me away. I had to see it twice because I just loved it so much. Universe Memory, that is my number 1. I don't know if it will ever get a physical media release. It's one of those films I just hope it does, because it's absolutely brilliant, and the cinematography is gorgeous. Oh, everything about it is just a 10 out of 10. It's a pure banger. And I hope people get a chance to see it. Directed by Mu-Ming Tsai. One for the future, I hope, guys. So yeah, that's my list of my top 25 films of 2022. I hope, you know, some of you guys have seen these films, or you look forward to seeing them. Let me know what your favourite films are in the comments. Click like. I've still got, I'll do it in the next few days, my top 2025 Blu-ray releases of 2022. That was a great year for physical media. So yeah, got that to look forward to. And I have got a Blu-ray update of some pickups as well. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you watched it all the way through and you picked up on some films that you want to check out. Until then, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next video, guys. Take it easy.